Hey, In2Picklers, welcome to Pickleball Therapy, the podcast designed with your pickleball improvement in mind. It is New Year's Eve. We're actually recording on New Year's Eve. Wanted to bring you a quick little podcast about kind of what's going on in 2020, 2021, and talk to you a little bit about the fitness challenge that we have going on at VIPickleball. I'm going to give you some tips in here that we shared, that CJ and I shared with the folks that were able to attend the webinar last night. And hopefully these tips will help you in 2021. You've studied the pickleball videos, maybe read a pickleball book, taken a lesson or two, but there's just something missing, something to complete the whole picture. That's where VIPickleball comes in. VIPickleball is the most immersive pickleball learning community available today. You can check out more information at wearepickleball.com. See you in the community. Last night I had the pleasure of conducting a webinar with CJ Johnson from Better Pickleball and VIPickleball, our joint effort to help pickleball players become the best players that they can be. And we talked about 5 different areas of fitness and improvement, specifically talking about it in the pickleball context. And I thought there was some points that merited basically trying to bring them to you in the podcast, kind of a little bit of a summary for you. And so the first area we talked about weight, right? And obviously everybody knows that weight's important and, keeping our weight down or, keeping our weight not necessarily down, but, within a range that makes sense. But, one thing that really stuck out or that resonated with me was that 1 pound of additional weight translates into 3 pounds of additional force on your joints. So that's a lot. I mean, I'm probably ballpark 15 or 20 pounds more than I could be. So if I do the math, that's 45 to 60 pounds of additional force on my joints every time I'm out on the court. That's crazy. And if you think about your life expectancy, not, death too, but life expectancy on a pickleball court, how many times can your knees or your ankles, your joints just take the pounding that you put on them out there? If I can lose 15 pounds and extend my playing, my good playing years by 5, 6, 7 years, that'd be awesome, right? So I thought that was really interesting on the weight side. Then we talked a little bit about cardio. And, we looked we talked about the different types of cardio you can do. Obviously, we understand that cardio, better cardio, you'll be able to play better pickleball. But the question is then what type of cardio should you do? And what was interesting was that the best type of cardio that you should focus on is what they call high intensity interval training, or HIIT, HIIT. So that's a really good technique you can use to improve your cardio. They did a study recently with 72-year-old men, and were able to show that HIIT is just much more effective regardless of age. So HIIT is definitely what we're trying to do for cardio. We talked also about strength and endurance, right? So, muscular strength and endurance. Now, what's interesting there is basically, if you don't have good strength and endurance, right? So if you can't hold a position, let's say a ready position up at the non-volley zone and things like that, it doesn't really matter how much you drill or practice your dinks and things like that. If you don't have the muscular strength and endurance that you need to execute the stroke properly, in order to engage your legs, engage your core, bend properly, or I should say squat properly to hit a good dink. So, strength and endurance are super important, muscular strength and endurance. And one way you can fix strength and endurance or work on strength and endurance is just body weight exercises. I shared with the folks during the webinar that, this may not apply to you depending on where you're at on the path, but for some players or for some folks, simply laying on the floor and standing up and laying on the floor and standing up 10 times, that's a full body workout. So that's better than doing nothing for sure. So definitely, do that if that's something that'll help you. But working on, muscular strength and endurance is really important not just for your personal health and your life, but also in your pickleball play. We talked also about flexibility and mobility. And that was really interesting. We talked there. One of the important things there was to talk about dynamic stretching. So, before you start playing, we all get to the pickleball courts. We're anxious to play. We jump on there. We start dinking. And then next thing you know, we're playing, 10 games without ever having really stretched our body or gotten our body ready to play. And so what we talked about was you doing dynamic stretching before you play. Just, 4 or 5 minutes of dynamic stretching. We have a workbook that we'll share with you. If you want it, send me an email at tony@wearepickleball.com, and I'll share you a link for the for the dynamic stretching workbook that CJ put together. It's really thorough. You can use all of it or some of it, but I can guarantee you that whatever you use out of that workbook is going to be better than doing absolutely nothing. So dynamic stretching is a really important way to avoid injuries and extend your play time. Certainly don't want to get injured out there. Whoa, what was that? Certainly don't want to get injured out there and then be out of commission for a while. So, and then the last thing we talked about, which was really interesting, was balance and stability. That's something that I frankly, I had never focused on that before in my life, my personal life or in my sports career. And it's such an important part of everything that we do, just, getting through the day, but also on the pickleball court. So one thing you can do there is you can stand on one leg while you do certain activities. So say you're brushing your teeth, washing dishes, whatever you're doing, watching TV, it doesn't matter. Whenever you're doing something that you have some time that you can do something with the balance, all you do is you stand on one leg, you lift the other leg off the ground and just kind of hold that position. Make sure you engage your muscles around your knee of the leg that's on the ground so it doesn't, flex around. So engage those muscles, lift the other leg. And then if you want to add a little bit of motion to it to improve, that's balance, right? If you want to improve your stability, take the other leg, the one that's off the ground, and move it a little bit. Just a little left to right, a little bit of circle or something like that. That'll really help with your stability. And what you'll find is you'll be shocked in, a couple of weeks of doing it, all of a sudden you'll be like, that's easy. I have no problem doing that. I have much better balance, much better stability. So, focusing on those 5 areas on bringing our weight down if we can, a little bit, focusing on what we're, the intake versus outtake kind of a stuff, cardio, working on some HIIT, strength and endurance, use just body weight exercises, anything to get just some resistance, some load on your muscles to make them stronger and give you better endurance. Working on your flexibility and motion, particularly the mobility, the dynamic stretching before you play is really important. And remember to send me an email at tony@wearepickleball.com if you're interested in that workbook. And then balance and stability, standing on one leg whenever you have a few minutes, whatever you're doing during the day, that'll really help you and really go a long way. So those are some tips. If you're interested in doing more in 2021, we would suggest, come up with a exercise routine that'll work for you, some sort of a fitness routine that hits those different areas, right? If you're interested in having us help you with that, we have a program that we set up that's available to you. You can find out more at wearepickleball.com. Just go on there. There's an 8-week fitness challenge that starts January 4th, so you still have a few days if you want to get into that. If you join the VIPickleball community in general, right? So basically, if you just join the general community where you have access to all of the lesson modules, online coaching, and the community, you also get access to the 8-week pickleball fitness challenge. So either way, it's something that's available to you. If it's something that you think would be helpful to you, certainly check it out at wearepickleball.com. Let's make 2021 our best pickleball year yet. That's our podcast. We wanted to wish you all a happy 2021, a happy New Year's. We appreciate your support of our podcast, Pickleball Therapy. Our plan is to keep going with this next year, keep bringing you these sorts of tips as we go through the year. And hopefully together we can go as far as we can to become the best pickleball player that we all can be. If you like the podcast, please share it with your friends. Make it a gift to them. If you like it, they probably will too. Happy New Year's, happy 2021, and see you next year. Stay well out there.